Welcome to Entrepreneurs Conquering the World, how to build a global audience and profit from it. With your host, Carmen Ring.
Hello everyone, welcome to Entrepreneurs Conquering the World. I'm your host, Carmen Ring, and today I have with me a wonderful lady, a wonderful business person, international business person, and a friend of mine that I've known for a few years now. Her name is Sandra Bravo. She's currently from Mexico, now living in Australia, but traveling around the world as a speaker and a trainer, and she probably spends most of her life in an airplane, and because she just loves inspiring people all over the world, and she's doing it in a very successful way. She's teaching her own seminars as well as somebody else's seminars, international programs, famous like T. Harv Eker, Success Resources. But I'm gonna let her tell us more about her. Sandra, welcome to our show, and just tell us more about yourself and how you got here.
Thank you for having me, Carmen. It's a delight to be here with you. And as you said, I am originally from Mexico. That's why the interesting mix of an accent. I've been in Australia though for about 15 years, so it's all mixed. And when I was in Mexico, I used to sit in front of the Travel Channel, and I used to see all these beautiful places around the world, and I used to think, I don't want to just sit here. So that was my big why. Like, I was rushing through summer subjects, and I finished like 6 months before my entire generation because it was my ticket to freedom. I just wanted to go. So as soon as I finished about 21, off I went for 3 years just traveling around the world, and I got to see all the places that I wanted to see. And as it ended up, I stayed in Australia after that, and I didn't know anything about the personal development work. And it was after I had my second baby. I'm the mother of two beautiful little girls, Alana and Brianna, who are 9 and 6. And after I had my second baby, I started to feel a little bit lost, like I was looking for something else. I had a really good job at the time. I had been managing businesses for Flight Centre, which is the biggest chain of travel agencies in Australia. And I really enjoyed it before I had kids. But once I had my babies, it was a bit like I either stay there and keep my lifestyle, but I won't have any time for my kids, or I stay home with my kids and give up my lifestyle. And so the greedy me went, well, but I want to have both. Why can we not have both? And I think there's a very common thing with ladies and guys as well, that they think they have to take a choice, when in reality we can create the situation where we're able to have both. And that's what took me onto the path of personal development. A client of mine at the time invited me to the National Achievers Congress in Melbourne, and that's where I met T. Harv Eker and Tony Robbins and all my wonderful mentors, and I just loved everything they had to teach. So I decided to come along, and I enrolled for the programs. I did all of it, and I loved it so much I ended up joining them as a trainer with them. And then that's how I developed my own brand, which is called Amazing with Triple S. And the Triple S is from the accent, Carmen, because every time I'm traveling around the world with Harv's events and I'm on stage, and I say to my participants and students, you're amazing. They make fun of me because I can't pronounce the C being Mexican, right? So then they come to me making fun, and they say, Sandra, you're amazing. And they exaggerate the accent. So it became so sticky that eventually I decided to turn that into my brand. And the Triple S stands for a Simplified Success System. And amazing is just for women at this stage. It's all about leadership, personal leadership for women, just women leading that change in the world, leading it themselves so that others can just feel attracted to the energy and want to do it. So I just empower women. We work with their mindset. That's my biggest passion, working with people's mindsets, Carmen, because you probably realize that many times people spend a lot of time on the strategy. Let's say they learn how to trade or how to do real estate or internet marketing or whatever the vehicle might be that they think is going to allow them to create financial freedom. And they're spinning the wheels in mud, not going anywhere because they don't have the mindset. they're trying to learn all these strategies, but if you don't have the mindset, which is the 80% success, then you're not going to make that strategy work. So we need to work on the mindset first. Once you achieve that, you can choose any strategy you want. You're going to find a way to make it successful because you've got that strong foundation. And that's what I do with women, because I used to meet all these beautiful ladies that would come to me and go, oh, thank you so much, you inspire me. And then they would share with me what their dreams and goals are. And I asked, and what happened? They're like, nothing. And it was devastating for me because I could see the gifts and, how amazing these women were, how gifted in their own right. And it was devastating to see they didn't do anything with it. So after this repeating over and over and over again, I started to realize, oh my God, these women are just lacking self-belief. They don't think they can do it. They don't have any evidence in their belief system, in their subconscious from the past that they could do it. So they just need someone to help them with their self-esteem, their confidence, and to believe that they've got everything they need to become successful within themselves. They just need to find a way to tap into it, to take all those layers of baggage and emotions that we beautiful women carry around, get rid of them and strip it off so that you can get in touch with all those beautiful gifts and talents that we have inside. And that's what got me really inspired and passionate about creating this beautiful community of women supporting each other, loving each other, and raising our vibration of energy together by, supporting each other on a judgment-free environment and helping each other increase that level of self-esteem and confidence to believe that you can do it.
And this is a wonderful thing you're doing. I know you just had one of your retreats in Bali, and I saw some pictures and videos, and I saw you guys had a lot of fun, and you had participants from all over the world coming together in this paradise. The environment was also just beautiful over there. Now, you mentioned you like working with mindsets, and this is what you do. In talking about even this one retreat in Bali that you just had, but about all of your programs in general, how do you handle working with people with such a different background? Because you might get somebody from Asia and somebody from US within the same class, and I know there are a lot of cultural differences, and people need to be approached in a different way so they get the maximum out of your message. How do you? I'm sure your background, being from Mexico and living in Australia, that helps. Knowing more about cultures, but how do you handle your audience being so different?
That's a great question, Karen. And let me tell you, one of the things, for example, for this last retreat in Bali, the most challenging thing for me was to develop the curriculum for the retreat, because I had some ladies that were brand new, and then I had another half of ladies that have been through a few retreats with me. So they're obviously at a different level in their vibration of energy and their mindset. So I was thinking, how can I develop this curriculum that is going to not be repetitive for the most experienced ladies, and at the same time it's not going to be too advanced for the new ladies that I'll lose them. So I need to leverage somehow the experience of these ladies to help the new ones move up to speed as fast as they can to meet at the same level. Now, in terms of culture, you're right, because I had ladies from Asia, I had from Poland, Spain, Scotland, and of course a lot of Australians, and me Mexican. And as you said, actually I had another Mexican lady there. And as you said, we all have differences in our culture. But this is the thing, Carmen. Number one, the environment is more important than your willpower. So, and it's very contagious. So once you are in this safe container, it's very easy to get drawn and pulled by the people with the high energy. So very shortly, ladies start to feel like, oh, this is a safe environment. This is not the, I don't know, for example, me coming from Mexico, and I know Poland and Spain are very similar. It's a bit like women tend to pull you down, instead of push you up. And I remember the last time I went to Mexico, I'm walking into a restaurant, and I swear for 1 second I had to look down at me because I thought I felt like I was naked the way I was being looked at by other women, you know, like checking you from head to toe. And I'm not used to it anymore. I've been in Australia for 15 years. We don't really do that here. And I went, oh, I forgot it's part of the culture. Like, this is uncomfortable to walk in and have everyone giving you the looks, right? And you're right. We all have different beliefs and cultural backgrounds. So what I do, first of all, I need to find a way to communicate that it lands onto everyone. And also because some women might be very shy or they might be introverts, and I'm the opposite. So the best thing to do, Carmen, is to address all that at the very beginning. Just hit it on the nail. And this is a great advice for anyone who's a trainer or a teacher, because usually whatever the issue is that we face, we tend to brush it under the carpet, and it makes it worse. It makes it more obvious. So, you know, whatever challenge you're facing with your audience, just hit it on the nail straight away and address it, because then it's out of the way. So, you know, I start by welcoming them and letting them introduce themselves and where they come from. And then I actually make mention of all these differences. And, you know, if you're an introvert, it's perfectly fine. And however, the expectations while you're here are going to be high energy, because I know from experience that you learn better when you're in a high energy environment, because you don't only learn it consciously, or you don't only learn the knowledge, but you actually ingrain the experience into your cellular body. So by me giving them the expectations right at the beginning, it's like, do you agree to it? And do I have your permission to push you? And if you forget and your energy goes down and you forget to participate at 100%, do I have your permission to remind you? And I go through the 3 ways of playing. You can play a game to win, and that means you go all out 100%. You can pretend to play. You know, there are those that you're saying yes, yes, but you kind of go around and introduce yourself, and you're pretending to get busy on your phone, or you got really thirsty, you have to go to the coffee table, and, you know, you're kind of hiding. You're pretending to play, but you're really trying to avoid talking to any other women, right? Or the third one is play not to lose. And that means doing the bare minimum just to get by, you know. And, you know, we have many situations in life like that, like, okay, I have to go, well, I'll just go and show up to this meeting with a long face, and I'll just sit there rolling my eyes. And, you know, you're playing to lose, like, because you think you have no choice. And it's like, well, why bother? If you're going to pretend to play, but you're going to play to lose, don't even show up. Why bother? You're draining your energy, you're draining other people's energy. And this is one thing that I explain to them. This is what amazing means to me, Carmen. In the old days, let's say when I started leading for Flight Center 10, 15 years ago, it was okay to have not very good customer service. We had such a good brand recognition that the fact that you were Flight Center is like you had that red brand on your forehead. So people would walk into the agency queuing to book travel, and you could be not nice and not give them good prices. It didn't matter. It's like, okay, you want it? No? Okay, next. It didn't matter, because we had people like wanting to book all the time. What happens as things start changing, people don't want to be just a number. People don't want to be someone else in the queue. People actually want to be taken care of. People want to have the name mentioned and have the handshake and, you know, have that eye contact. So as the time started changing in Flight Center, people that used to make really good sales easily, they started to struggle, because now they couldn't just go, next, what do you want? Yeah, is this much? You want it? No? Okay, goodbye. You know, now all of a sudden they had to go, oh, hi, Carmen, how are you doing? How's the pregnancy going? Where are you planning to go on holidays when the baby's born? And, you know, really take interest. So things started changing, and I'm just using an example of the travel industry, but this is across any industries, to the point that people really had to become good at customer service in order to succeed in business. Otherwise, they started going out of business very, very quickly. So what happened, Carmen, is that in the old days, being good was all you needed. All of a sudden, you had to be great. And these days, to be honest, if you're good, you're mediocre. You're out of business. And if you're great, you're just good enough. You know, so in these days, in order to succeed in your business and in your life, you have to take it to a whole new level. And amazing for me represents that whole new level. You're playing full out. You're playing to win at 100% all the time in everything you do. Not just today because I woke up happy, I'm going to choose to, play all that. It's like, well, no, tomorrow I might wake up feeling sick or tired, whatever, but I still have to play full out. And so for me, if I'm leading all these women, I've got to lead by example. And that's what I teach them is personal leadership. You can't walk out of there and inundate yourself again with your limiting beliefs from your culture or how things work in your country or with your language. It's like you're coming here to become a leader and you're going to just be that leader. You're not going to try and impose it over other people. You're just going to live that change yourself, and people are going to start to gravitate towards you. And this is the other thing I address with them in terms of culture, Carmen, that culture puts layers on you. It puts a facade, okay? Just like some women choose to put makeup in the morning and stuff. And when they come to Amazing, I just go, yeah, we all might have different cultural backgrounds. However, they're just layers that we have chosen to put on because that's how things work in your country. That's how things work with your language and the way you were brought up. We might be from the same country, but one of us got taught from different teachers, different adults, different religious leaders. So, we all got that different influence. And at the end of the day, it's all a facade. So at the retreat, we work on removing all of those facades so that you can connect with your core, with your inner authenticity. Because, and this probably has happened to you, Carmen, you're talking to someone and they sound amazing. And it's like, wow, what they're saying, but somehow you feel, you don't know exactly what it is, you can't pinpoint it, but in your subconscious, there's something not congruent about this person. You feel a little bit, I don't know, there's something about that person. Have you ever felt that before, Cameron?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think everyone in our audience can relate to that.
Totally. And that's exactly when they're not being authentic, so your subconscious can feel it. So this is what I teach these ladies, remove the cultural facade, remove this, all those, we peel all those layers of the onion so that we can connect with your inner authenticity, because when you're in your authentic self, guess what? People just get so attracted to you. They just can't resist your energy because they're connecting to your spirit, to your higher self. And so that's how we remove a lot of those cultural differences. And you know what is so beautiful, Carmen, that at the end of the retreat, I get to realize over and over again that these women, we are all the same at the core. We're all the same. They all come to Amazing looking for fulfillment, looking for satisfaction, for happiness, just to fill up that empty gap they have inside. And it's interesting, and I swear that at every single retreat, I have ladies that go, oh my God, I feel like I now found my family of soul sisters, because I don't have very close friends in my life, because I don't have women that I can trust, that they're going to always hold my back and never going to judge me, because I feel safe to share, you know what, this happened to me and this is what I've been thinking and this is how I feel. And what do you mean? I'm not a weirdo? All of you feel the same way. It doesn't matter if you're from China or Egypt or, whatever, the moon. We all feel the same at the core. We are all the same. And it's so beautiful to just get them to see that we are one and that we are connected, and that it doesn't matter what facades and things we have learned throughout the years. We are safe with each other, and it's so beautiful.
And all these amazing transformations happen at your retreat, that you facilitate them. You are there to work with them. As you said, you set expectations and rules or guidelines from the beginning, and then because they trust you and because you build a safe environment, they have the courage to be open and participate full on in all these experiences that you create. But all this happens once you are face to face with them. And what I wanted to ask you is, how do you handle them before they come in front of you? How do you handle your marketing to actually convince them to come to you with all the different backgrounds? Once you have them in front of you, you told me you're great. You're an expert at getting them to be open and to play full on and to motivate them and to get them together. How do you do when you don't have them in front of you? How do you get them there?
That's a good question. And you just used a very key word in there about convincing. I don't have to convince anyone, because when you have to convince someone, I've learned from my experience, is when you want to help them more than they want to help themselves. And that is wasting my time, because you can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. So they need to realize that there's something lacking in the life for them to want to come. Now, most of it has been word of mouth. Because women come, they see what is done for them, they go home, the husbands start contacting me going, I don't know what you did and I don't care, but thank you so much, because a happy wife is a happy life and my wife is totally different. And so what happens is then you can't help yourself, right? You bump into someone, I don't know, a mother of a school or someone in your office or at work or a friend, and they go, what's wrong with you? Like, you're different. What happened? And they can't help themselves but to share what happened, and then the new ladies want to come, so they come and find me. However, in terms of marketing, I have to say that probably the thing that has given me the biggest success right now is social media. I think it has become, depends how you see it, sadly it could be a big part of our lives. Exciting could be that's the way you communicate with them. But at the same time, Carmen, because we get bombarded by marketing and social media these days everywhere, you have your phone and there's like 10 different beeps, and every beep is something different, a different app, a different network that comes to you, and same if you're in your computer. So before, they used to say that you needed to have to touch your client, and by touch I mean to be in front of them with your message, your marketing message. I don't need to physically touch them, 7 to 10 times. These days, because we're so bombarded with media, I honestly feel you need to touch, your message needs to be in front of your client at least a good 21 times, to be honest. So, I think in terms of marketing, it's about finding the way to do that. And I know from my ladies, they love sharing on social media. That's probably how you saw it, because you were on Facebook and you probably saw a whole bunch of ladies tagging amazing and going, oh, we just went whitewater rafting, and we just had a Zumba class on the beach, and we just had a beautiful healing, or we went to the foundation to help all the ladies that are more disadvantaged, and things like that. So then they go and share it, and then they tag it, and I say to them at the retreat, thinking of leveraging marketing for the next retreat. You are welcome to post and share anything and everything you want, as long as you don't share anything that we discussed, talked about, or did inside the retreat. If you're going to post a video, it'll have to be a couple of seconds, so that is not sharing the content. You can share any photos and make them sign a disclaimer before they walk in that they're okay with me sharing whatever I want in terms of photos and marketing and videos. So I actually encourage them to do it. And I do little competitions, in the most authentic post or things like that. So we have obviously our secret group where we share confidential stuff, but that's secret. No one can find it. No one can see it. And then there's the things that they can go and share. So I find for myself that some of the ladies that have come to Amazing is because they go to the point where, you know what, I am so sick of seeing your things that I just have to check it out, because I just kept seeing it in social media. As you know, email is getting a little harder these days. So text message, it's a good form of marketing before people are starting to get too many and they don't read you anymore. But you know what's the other thing, Carmen, that people don't get anything in their mailboxes anymore, because now everything comes electronically. So now to open your mailbox and get a nice personalized letter, it's actually really exciting, because you don't get that anymore. But for example, my 7-day videos, which are the 7 amazing habits to a successful and fulfilling life, most of it is now delivered via text, just with the link to watch a video, because they're just 2 or 3 minutes. And what happens is they can listen. If they're driving, they don't have to watch it, but they can listen to it. If they're in the train, if they're exercising, so they don't have to go to their computers and open their emails, or plus a lot of emails these days go to spam. So I'm a big fan of social media right now to market my business.
That's wonderful, and I agree. Social media, it's a big factor today. And yes, you are right. This is how I know what happened at your retreat in Bali, because I saw movies of Zumba dancing and everybody being in high energy and loving And I saw you did a lot of the experiments outside in a beautiful, beautiful surrounding. It's like it's even difficult to be depressed over there. Like you can't stay depressed when you go in such a beautiful surrounding. So I guess maybe that's one part of marketing too, choosing such a beautiful and inspiring environment. Now, what would you say? I know to your business there are lots of factors to build it and grow it. But if you'd be to choose one factor that had the most impact in the success you created, what would you say it was?
I would say the community, Carmen. People crave to belong to something, to feel part of. And for me, I know starting Amazing, the first thing I had to do was I had to start building that community where I went in. You know what I mean? So, because if it's this exclusive thing, all of a sudden it's the scarcity mentality of I want to be part of that. Versus if it's something that anyone has access to, you know, if you get free membership to the gym, you're probably not going to do it. But all of a sudden, if they take it away from you, all of a sudden you went in. So I think the sense of community in any business is the key factor. You need to be able to provide your ideal client that sense of I belong to something that's special. I belong to this revolution. And I say to them, the magic is not going to come from me. The magic is going to come from us as a community. I can't do it all on my own, you know, and I can't be talking to them all at the time. But we have accountability partners, and that's amongst each other. You know, I say to them, I'm not here to be your best friend. If a friendship develops, that's great and is welcome. However, I'm here to tell you the things that you might not want to hear. I'm here to pull you up on it, and I'm here to push you out of your comfort zone. Because otherwise, I'll be ripping you off. You know, and I want to make sure you're getting twice as much value as what you paid to come here. So I think the sense of community is definitely the number one factor that has brought success to my group.
And I agree, relationships, especially nowadays when everything goes online, like you said, and more of the business is done online. We have online employees, online assistants, online. I think in this time, even more people want this sense of community and they want to be part of something. So you told me about the community you created. Can you tell me a little bit about the community that you are part of? And what I mean here are your mentors, people that inspire you, people that you look up to and that gave you some sort of guidance in creating your business.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say that my absolute two top mentors have been Tia Becker and Alex Mandosian, and surrounding myself in their communities has just totally changed my mindset. It gave me the belief that, you know, I could replace my income from a normal job with just being independent and having the freedom to, you know, take my kids to school and work anywhere in the world as long as I have my little laptop and my internet connection. And just like I was saying to you how important the environment is, Carmen, you can be trying so hard, but if you're not surrounded by the right mentors, you're going to get dragged down. That's inevitably. You know, you spend 2 days with a negative person, and I'll tell you what, you're going to be vibrating as low as they are very quickly. But it's the same, the opposite. You surround yourself with the right mentors in the right community. Very soon you start to think like them, you start to feel like them. And I used to tell myself that I didn't like selling and I didn't like marketing. And inevitably, by just involving myself into that community, and I was like, oh my God, it's so much fun. Besides, you can't be in business. It doesn't matter what your business is, your niche or your industry. If you can't market or you can't sell, I'm sorry, but you're out of business. You know, you can be really good at what you do and you can do it for non-profit if you wish to, but you somehow need to enjoy it. And I think the key strategy there is surrounding yourself with those mentors that you look up to, that just by being around and listening to the way they talk and the way they behave, because, you know, we have the 4 states: your physical, your emotional, your spiritual, and what happens when you change one, you change them all. So if you start to mimic that mentor, the way they talk or the way they move, eventually you're going to start to think and feel like them, and you're going to be like, wow, I didn't realize I knew that much, or I didn't realize I just said that. You know, like it's really exciting. And In fact, I learned how to create my funnel through them as well. And I have in Amazing my inner circle, which is just a very small 9 ladies that they have to be in business because of that reason, so that we mastermind and help each other grow our businesses and things like that. So I'm very grateful to Alex Mendoza and Tia Becker for everything they have told me.
Well, and I guess you couldn't have chosen better than them, especially when it comes to marketing and sales. I know both Alex and Harv are geniuses in these fields, and now it makes much more sense when I see you talking with so much enthusiasm about marketing and the different ways, and being around them too. There's no other way. Like you said, you just have to copy their vibration, and you just get into that same spirit. And it's interesting you just said that you used not to be that much into marketing and sales or be afraid of it, and now you're just so natural at it. Now, Sandra, unfortunately, we only have a few minutes left. Time flies. And I know you have a surprise for our audience, so I would like you to share a little bit about that.
Yes, I would love to share my 7-day free video series, which is the 7 amazing habits to a successful and fulfilling life. And the reason being, Carmen, is because I found through my journey that if you are working so hard at wanting to be successful, but you don't have the habits that support you, it's just not going to happen. So it all starts by changing little by little those daily habits until they become ingrained in your system, so you do them by default. People are working so hard, I want to make money, and they're like, okay, money is just energy. And if you don't have all these other things nailed first, which is the foundation, none of that is going to come. So let's start by changing your habits, and that's what they get in the 7-day video series. And they can get it on amazing.com. I believe you're going to share the link with them. And that's amazing with SSS.com. And that's where they can get their 7-day free video series.
Yes, and that's on the screen right now, the link to get it. And so all they have to do is go on that website, and they're going to find over there the way to sign up for it and to get access to this free video series. Sandra, thank you so much for your offer, and thank you for sharing your energy with us. What our audience doesn't know is that as we're filming this interview, your time is 5:30 in the morning, and you're already full of energy and ready to conquer the world. In fact, I know you're just getting ready for another international trip. You just came back a few days ago from one and then going to another. You're always on the run, always high energy, and which is how you created all this success you have. It's always about doing stuff, getting things done, and you're great at that. Once again, thank you so much for sharing your time with us, and thank you for the gift you made to our audience. To all of my public, we'll see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching Entrepreneurs Conquering the World with your host, Carmen Ring.